Hey guys, OriginalRyou here with episode 5 of my Big Brother 12 review and opinion show. Now, I do want to cover something before I begin. I did get a comment, not a hateful one, about my previous episode, and they commented that they felt my view was kind of warped, like I was being showing favoritism towards one or two people and bashing another two people. And thinking about it, I feel he is right, but he also doesn't entirely get the concept of my series here. No offense to you, might I add, if you're watching this. First off, this is a review and opinion series, and I'm going to be sharing my personal opinions. I mean, I'm not like going to tell everybody what they want to hear, but I'm going to tell them what I feel like. And I've always emphasized that if you have something that you want to share, if you have somebody you are rooting for, rooting against, if you feel something was bullcrap or genius, I want you guys to share it. And that's the whole point of my series, not just to recap on the season, but also to share opinions with one another without with as little confrontation and drama as possible, even though that's a bit much to ask for. So it is my opinion. I do like Reagan. I do root for him. Brendan and Rachel, I do want to make it clear that it's not them as a couple that I'm against or that I show a bit of distaste for, but it's mostly Rachel. Brendan, I think, is a stand-up guy. He has a lot of good morals. He isn't greedy whatsoever. I mean, he would pick Rachel over $500,000, and it's becoming increasingly obvious by the decisions that he's making. And I do respect him for that. Rachel, though, I'm sorry for any Rachel fans out there. I mean, if you guys want me to lighten up and ease up and treat them as equal as I do the other house guests, I will. I promise I will. And some good things about Rachel is that she was a very smart strategic player. She's good at competitions. She won 2 HOHs. She definitely has a great intuitive mind. However, I don't think that she played the social game as good as she could have, because she pissed off Kristen, she pissed off Kathy. Hold on. It's not for me. As I was saying, she pissed off Kristen, got in a confrontation with her, she got in a confrontation with Kathy, just because Kathy was excited that she won something, sort of. And she got in a huge fight with Reagan this week, as you guys plainly saw it in the veto episode. Wait, is that the veto or the eviction episode? Whatever. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of Rachel's attitude towards other people in the house, at least some of them. Overall, though, Rachel is a strong, independent woman and a player in the Big Brother house, and that is something to admire. But I am just not a fan of Rachel, I'm sorry. Now, on to the actual week where the Diamond Power of Veto was used. It was a big shock to everybody. Well, it was until Matt was put up on the block. I mean, I think Matt could have used it even if he was off the block, but once he was on the block, it was kind of obvious, but people were kind of anticipating it, wondering who he would put up in his place. For some reason, I kind of considered it like the coup d'etat, where when Jeff used it, he changed both nominees and put up 2 different replacements. The Diamond Power Veto apparently only works on one person. So that was one difference that I failed to think about, or failed to listen to. But anyway, starting with the HOH episode, Brendan wins. He puts Reagan, Matt, and Brittany up on slop because, well, obviously Brittany and Reagan had fallouts with Brendan during Rachel's eviction episode. And Matt was because he did target them, he did get them separated. So it was kind of obvious who he would have picked for the have-nots if he did win HOH, which he did. When it came to decision making. Let's start with the Brigade here. Hayden and Enzo are starting to... They're the reason the Brigade alliance is starting to crack, because they're starting to move out a bit on their own, on their twosome. They think Matt and Lane are getting too close to Brittany and Reagan, because Matt and Reagan hang out all the time and Brittany and Lane hang out all the time. So they do feel that maybe they can trust like Brendan more than they can Matt, which probably is the case, because they did make a side deal with Brendan and Rachel that whoever stayed, they had to target Brittany and Reagan. But yeah, Brigade Alliance is starting to crack. Obviously Matt would have gone home if he didn't have the Diamond Power veto. Let's see how much time I have left. 6 minutes? That's good. Let's see, what else has gone on in HOH episode? Well, obviously, Reagan and Brittany felt threatened, and they knew one of them or Matt would be going up on the block. So they did attempt a lot of pleading. They tried to appeal to Brendan Reagan by offering him a handout to help him, I believe, and Brittany was just going on about how she really wants to stay and that if she wins HOH, she would not put him up. Actually, I think Reagan said similar to the same thing, but when it came down to the nomination ceremony, Brendan seemed to, I guess, trust Brittany, but he put up Reagan and Lane, because he was talking about Lane earlier. He was talking about how like he wanted to avenge Rachel and also stick to what they wanted to do, which was to get out floaters. And he's implied that Lane was the pawn and Reagan was the one he was trying to go for, because he was a factor in why Rachel went home. The whole house was a factor. Who is he kidding? God, I lost my train of thought there. But yeah, Reagan and Lane up on nominations. It was kind of a blow to the Brigade, who were kind of concerned and angered that Brendan would put Lane up when the plan was supposedly Brittany and Reagan. But at first glance, you would think that Lane is going to be okay. I mean, there's 8 people left in the house, 5 people to vote, 3 Brigade members are not on the block, so they can obviously vote out Reagan and keep Lane. So there really isn't much sweat in it for Lane, but he does want to compete and he does want to get back at Brendan. So, damn, I'm having a lot of blank moments here. I guess I'll be cutting it short now, gather my thoughts, and come back to you with the veto episode, as well as the eviction episode. I do have to look a few things up, like which episode did Rachel re-enter Big Brother's house and all that. So I will be back with part 2. And again, I apologize if at some moments I do seem like I'm bashing Brendan or Rachel. I'm going to try to ease up on it because it does seem to bother some people. And I will be back very soon, so yeah.